morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I am so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me here again to speak to you. As always, it's a pleasure and a challenge to scan my consciousness, to talk about real life experiences and then translate them into spiritual insights. Of course, in order to do that, I have to live it. Not always fun, however, always enlightening. So you might wonder about my talk title. I'm glad nobody guessed it. And maybe you did, somewhere inside of you in your conscious mind. How about them noisy neighbors? You might say, what about them? Mine are not noisy. I have great neighbors. And if they do get loud, I just go over them and party with them. And that's a great way to be, right? Well, the idea came from our Australian friend Denise. She had to give a Toastmasters talk, and her idea was to talk about noisy neighbors in the head. Nodding, oh yes. You know those voices that come to you, especially when we have decisions to make, or in the middle of the night when we're supposed to be resting. It can be so loud that your sleep gets disturbed, despite prayers, despite spiritual coaching, despite we do everything right, but yet they don't shut up. Now you're catching on. So let me introduce them to you. We have What If Really? Deb the Doubter. Never Enough Nick. Pete the Perfectionist. Corey the Critic. And Can't Do Cassandra. Okay, what if really comes for a visit? Well, what if thoughts are very common and natural. When they come, it becomes hard to turn them off, however. They might lead us astray. And before we know it, we may feel anxious or nervous, or we experience difficulty focusing on our daily life. Here are some examples. What if my money runs out before all the bills are paid? That's a big one. What if my backache means I have cancer? What if my loved one leaves me? What if I can't do a good job? What if I get lonely? What if I fail the test? The way I experienced really lately was, what if my talk sucks?
Any other speakers, Marie?
Right? So there you go. I'm not alone. The common beliefs are about relationship, health, finances, or the future. When we find ourselves worrying about things that might happen, we are not in the present moment. Just saying. The next one is Deb, the doubter. When she comes for a visit, it may look like this. What am I doing here? I don't belong. I'm a total fraud. And sooner or later, everyone's gonna find out. The way I experienced that lately, I'm not a dog sitter. The dogs are going to take me for a walk. And they did. If you ever felt like this at work, at school, in a group, or anywhere you are, again, you are not alone. It can happen to anyone in any profession, from graduate students to top executives. It doesn't matter who you are. The visitor depth, we call it, brings feelings of self-doubt and personal incompetence that persists despite our education, our knowledge, our experience, or our accomplishments. And then comes never enough Nick. He comes into the picture and we are on an uphill battle. Nick tells me, you're not good enough to buy that blouse. You're not good enough for that promotion. You're not good enough for a loving relationship. Seriously, are you kidding yourself? You can't do that. Oh, thanks a lot, Nick. I just needed to hear that as I get ready for my day. And the way I experience Nick lately, I'm not good enough to speak my opinion in a kind and loving way. And maybe my opinion is not even needed. Oh, and on his heels comes Pete, the perfectionist. Of course, you gotta work harder. Put more effort in how to do things. You need to be on time all the time. Bring your standards up some more. Get it right the first time around. Do it perfectly or don't do it at all. Oh my goodness, the way I experience Pete lately, just because a plumbing job must be perfect, it doesn't mean that everything I do needs to be perfect, right? There's no hose that leaks all over the place in life. In plumbing, yes. So Pete is tough and determined, and that opens the door to the next visitor. And before you know it, here he comes. Corey, the critic. Did you know the word criticism is synonymous with judgment, opinion, and assessment? I thought they were actually not that harsh. But self-criticism means directing all this evaluation toward myself. And then we have an issue. Right? And we ask ourselves, where does that come from? Do we care? It may come from my upbringing, peer pressure at school, demanding teachers or bosses, competitive sports. It can also stem from our learned behaviors that we just recently acquired. So, no, we don't need to spend any time to figure out where the source is. All we need to know is what it feels like. And then it's so easy for the next visitor to sidle in. Ooh, can't do Cassandra. Pretty much end the story then, eh? Yeah, no energy left to even try something new. No, that's pretty depressing. All those noisy neighbors have something in common though. They bring along a feeling. Not very good ones, mind you. But all thoughts bring feelings. How can we find ourselves when these noisy neighbors are speaking? Well, the good news is that we are still here and we are talking about it. We're recognizing them. We're identifying them. We're not hiding away from it. We're sharing it with peers, with friends, with our loved ones. And our awareness is our friend. And so Eckhart Tolle is pointing that out every time he has a chance. And I quote, "The most important part of your journey is the step you're taking at this moment." And that's something to continuously realize and practice, because that's all there ever is. That means to me, when in this moment, Pete, the perfectionist, is visiting, or maybe Corey, the critic, or what if really, that's okay. It's okay, because really, how long is a moment? True? How long is the present moment? Not very long, is it? Well, it is as long as we can hold on to it. Right? And so here, now it's time for a Zen story. Are you ready for a Zen story?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. A senior monk and a junior monk were traveling together. At one point, they came to a river with a strong current. As the monks were preparing to cross the river, they saw a very young and beautiful woman also attempting to cross. The young woman asked if they could help her cross to the other side. The two monks glanced at one another because they had taken vows not to touch women. Then, without a word, the older monk picked up the woman, carried her across the river, placed her gently on the other side, and carried on his journey. The younger monk couldn't believe what just happened. After rejoining his companion, he was completely speechless. And hours passed without a word between them. More hours passed. And finally, the young monk could not contain himself any longer and blurted out, "As monks, we are not permitted a woman. How could you then carry that woman on your shoulders?" The older monk looks at him and replied, "Brother, I set her down on the other side hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" Right? How long do we hold on to stuff? How long do we repeat our stories in our mind? How long do we listen to the noisy neighbors? Let me demonstrate something. Want to play along?
Yeah.
Grab an item. Something light, something like a pen, a coin, a piece of paper, something unbreakable. Get something. Oh, perfect. Good. This item represents your noisy neighbors. What if really? Deb the doubter, never enough Nick, Pete the perfectionist, Corey the critic, can't do Cassandra. It could also be seen as our fears, our frustrations, our stress, our doubts, our anger. Our hand, however, presents our awareness. Okay? And Now we take that object and grip it really tightly. If you have a paper with your fingers or whatever, that's good. Yeah, really tightly, and as hard as you grip, the longer you hold it, the more comfortable it gets. And then suddenly it becomes normal and easier. Now move that object around in your hand. Is it attached to your hand? No, it is not. Think about your feelings. And we totally, no, it's not attached to your hand. We totally identify with it. And he did it already. So, how can we prove to us? We take the hand, we turn it over, and we let go. Ta-da! That wasn't so bad, right? So that's how easy it can be to let go. And so, I have one more thing to say, and that is one of my favorite poems, a different type of approach to the noisy neighbors idea. It's The Guest House by Monika. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if there are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. What a beautiful approach. So let the release come. Let Deb come. Let Corey come. You don't have to believe them. Believe your own spiritual truth, because we are still a spiritual being with human experience. Or we can just say it like this. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Do you want to repeat that after me? Mm-hmm. There's only one life.
There's only one life.
That life is God's life.
That life is God's life.
That life is perfect.
That life is perfect.
That life is my life now.
That life is my life now.
And so it is.
So it is.
And now we have Vivian leading us into meditation.
There's no lyrics in one, and it's all good. So we're improvising this morning, and we can close our eyes and drop in, and we're going to sing, I am blessed.
go within and feel the blessing as gratitude spreads through my being. I am allowing my life to unfold. I am allowing my breath to deepen. I am allowing the source of my being to guide me. I am trusting that I'm guided. I'm trusting that I'm not alone. And so that inner infinite intelligence is always working on my behalf. No matter what is happening outside of me, my inner world is whole, perfect, and complete. Grateful for this quiet time, grateful for the community, grateful for the source of my being.